Good evening, Facebook. Man, I know we're going through some tough times right now, and I just want to share a message of just let God fight the battle. Just let him fight the battle. You know, Daniel, in the book of Daniel that I'm reading, which is chapter 6, he has to go through some things. And at this time, King Darius is in a position that, he's taking over. He's basically promoting Daniel to be over the empire, over administrators and governors. And there's some governors and administrators that just weren't happy, so they were seeking a way to catch Daniel in the government way of what he was doing wrong, to get him in trouble. Just more of pride and just being selfish, really, and not being happy for someone because they feel like they should have been over Daniel. But long story short, they basically convinced the king to make a law that for 30 days they could only basically pray to him. They can't pray to another god, they can't pray to another person, they had to pray to him. So what the king signed it, and once the king signed it, it couldn't be retracted. It was done. So for 30 days they could only pray to King Darius. So Daniel, he always prayed 3 times a day to his God. He prayed 3 times, just thanking him, praying for things. And once Daniel heard of this, the first thing he did was started praying to God. And the 2 administrators who went to seek him out to catch him, saw him, went back to King Darius and reminded him of the law that he set in. And so King Darius is like, man, what do I do? Like, Daniel's my right hand man. I have him over the empire. And he tried to find every way he could. So the 2 administration basically snitching, and I wouldn't say snitching, but telling on Daniel and what he was doing, went back to the king and said, hey, this is your law, and anyone who disobeys you has to be thrown in the lion's den. So as Daniel's praying, could you imagine knowing that the king had to set the order for him to basically go get Daniel and throw him into the lion's den? I don't know what den or lion you're facing today, but let me tell you what, Daniel did not let up his praying for God, believing in God, and knowing God was going to be there for him. So as Daniel prayed, he got thrown into the den. The king himself even prayed for Daniel and told him that let your God rescue you. Not once did Daniel ever lose faith. The situation didn't change Daniel. What Daniel was going through, it didn't change him at all. He continued praying to God. He kept his faith because he knew that the situation was not going to be greater than his God that he serves. So he was thrown in. Overnight, the king went back and he screamed out for Daniel, Daniel, are you okay? Are you there? And what did Daniel say? My king lives. God saved him, protected him. So whatever you're facing today, don't let the circumstances change your faith. Don't let your circumstances change what God has done for you now and what he will do for you in the future. Have faith, have the faith of Daniel, knowing that even though the lions are around you and you're in a den and it might seem like there's no way out, God is good and we serve a good God. And the same God that was in the den with Daniel is the same God in the den with you. So just let God fight your battle. This Sunday, I'm actually going to bring another message. It's going to be awesome. Hopefully you can tune in. I'll post about it. But hopefully I gave you some encouragement. Just trust in God. Believe in him. He's in control.